All right, today we have the voice of Cid Highwind.
Yo.
All right, so we're going to start today right off with questions.
Shoot.
So, how did you actually start off getting into voice acting?
Actually, it's kind of a common story, but as a kid, I was always doing these little voices to amuse myself and my brothers and then my friends. And as I got older, I just did it more and more. And you know, when I was in college, my friends encouraged me to try stand-up comedy, so I did. And my senior year in college, I did my first set of stand-up comedy, did pretty well, kept doing it, and after graduation, instead of using my degree, I thought I would just tour as a comedian. And for about 10 years, I did that. So, yeah, you know, don't go to college, kids. That's my advice. Just kidding. I'm glad I went to college. But I toured as a stand-up comedian, and I made my home base Orlando, Florida, because I grew up in Georgia. And Orlando was the closest sort of showbiz town. And as I did stand-up around the country, I also got into acting. And I eventually booked a few TV appearances on, you know, like Nickelodeon and a small show here and there. It was enough to get my feet wet, and a little bit of voiceover started happening. Not much, but I actually ended up doing the voice for a couple of theme park rides in Orlando that are still going. Like I'm the voice of Spider-Man at the Islands of Adventure Spider-Man ride.
Dude,
so
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's a really cool ride too, and it still is, I think. But long story short, too late. I eventually moved to Los Angeles, and about 3 years after Los Angeles, I got tired of doing the road. So right around 2000, I found a really good agent, and she was at a smaller agency. Her name's Pat Brady, and she's the reason I have a career. And after 2 or 3 years, I was working a little bit, but then she moved to a bigger agency, CESD, which is the agency we're at now, and she took a lot of her guys with her, myself included. And basically, that's kind of the long and short of it. I got a meeting with Pat back in 2000 because I'd been doing theme park ride work for Universal, and they were kind enough to get me a meeting. So that's how I got into voiceover, and it's kind of a roundabout journey, you know. But you need people that like what you do and support you in order to get there, and that's what I have. Oh, look, it's the phone. Hold on. Hello? Hello? And nobody's there. Isn't that great in the middle of an interview? All right. All right. So I hope that answers your question.
So how did Disney actually get in contact with you?
I think I just auditioned for it like everybody else. I think I've been lucky enough to do things for Disney in the past, and I still get to occasionally do things like I'm the voice for Timothy the Mouse from Dumbo, which means maybe once a year, once or twice every year or every couple of years, I'll do a Timothy the Mouse voiceover for them for some project. And I'm also the voice for Scuttle, the seagull for The Little Mermaid, because Buddy Hackett passed away a few years ago, and I got the job voice matching him. And so Disney character voices already kind of knew me, but I think I had auditioned for the movie, and when it came time for Disney to do the game, it just sort of carried over into that. So these things happen over the course of 2 or 3 years sometimes.
So what did you actually do for Naruto?
I am Hidan, so I'm the English voice of Hidan, who apparently is a super evil, just a completely unredeeming character, who is actually a lot of fun to play for those reasons.
Now that you tell me, I can just kind of really see you as that now.
Yeah, I didn't really audition for it. They knew me, and they said, "You'd be perfect for this guy. Your attitude is perfect." And the way you know, had me read him, and I guess the way I naturally read it was kind of like the way he is. I don't know if you have language restrictions on your Skype interview, but there are words I could use to describe him that are not PG. Yeah, apparently they just started airing the work I did, the English language dubs, and I guess I've gotten 1 or 2 comments from people on it, but it's you know, I don't know if Disney XD knew just how extreme that show was when they picked it up.
Yeah, it used to be on Cartoon Network, and then all of a sudden it's on Disney, and I'd like, whoa, that's a big step for Disney.
It sure is. I think there are some edits they do. We occasionally do a kind of a milder version of a line for them,
Mm-hmm.
but I think it's up to them to decide, you know, whether this goes on the DVD or on the network airing.
Yeah, how is doing games for that?
It's good. I think I've done a couple now. Well, I've done a couple of sessions. I don't know if it's for 2 different games or not, but I just recorded, I think, last Friday for Mary McGlynn, a Naruto game, and it's fun. I mean, it really recalls the work I did for the show, but you know, they add a little something else to it, something you wouldn't necessarily see in the show. So it's fun. You know, they're very cool to work with, and they don't beat you up too much. As you can imagine, video games can be pretty taxing on you.
So, how was working on Advent Children?
That was pretty fun. Although it didn't take as long as I would think. I think we recorded over at Skylark Studios, if I recall correctly. And I think it was back in 2006 or 2005. It was a little while ago. And the movie was finished, and they said, you're providing an English translation for the character, and here's the video, and here are his scenes, and we're going to go ahead and match, you know, the lip sync, and these are the lines, and this is your character, so you go ahead and interpret the lines, and we'll direct you. And that's what I did. So I was really amazed at the animation. I thought it looked phenomenal.
Oh, yeah.
And I just thought it looked so real, you know, that they really do not cheat you on the visuals.
They've actually been considering for a long time making a Kingdom Hearts one like that.
That would be vast. I mean, that's such a huge world.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that deserves a feature film treatment as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, I guess, in short, it was really fun to do, but it was very technical. You know, you have the performance you want to give, but it has to fit what has already been animated, and that's usually doing the process in reverse.